Hello again, this is Madan. In this demo, we are going to create a watch list and add a functionality to add the pet to the watch list. So let's head over to our project and we're going to first we start from the model. So we create a model to store the watch list. So let's click on the model folder, add a new file called watchlist.cs. watchlist watchlist.cs and let's define a namespace of mbc demo dot models, and let's define a class public class lswatcs watchlist. Oops, made a mistake here. Yeah, and now we are going to define several properties here. So let's define the first property, which is of course the id, and let's define the another property. So here in the watch list we are going to store the pet, so we are going to store the id of the pet int, let's say pet id, and the watch list belongs to the user, so we need to store the user id to our watch list as well. So user id is a type of string, so let's say user id. Now these are the, and another thing is let's create another property called datetime. Let's bring in the namespace for the datetime using system, and let's say created date, and let's add a default value to this datetime dot now. And we need to define the relationship between our application user, pets, and watch list. So let's think of the relationship between the application user and the application user and our watch list. So let's bring in the application user model. So our application user can have more than one pets in their watch list, and each pet in the watch list belongs to the particular application user. So we can say that our application user can have a list of watch list. So let's say public list of watch list, and let's say watch list, and our watch list belongs to a particular application user at a given point of time. So let's define another property here called application user, and let's say user. So now the watch list can belongs to the item in the watch list belongs to the application user. So we have defined the property application user here, and this user id becomes the foreign key which is from application user. So user, this name here should match with this user, and the id is the id column, id field of the application user. So this defines the one-to-many relationship between application user and the watch list. Also we can define the relationship between our watch list and the pet model. So we can have many pairs in a watch list, so we can have more than one pairs in a watch list, and each pet in the watch list belongs to a particular pet. So let's assume that the watch list and pet can have one-to-many relationship, and let's define that. So let's head over to the pet class, and let's define the property list of watch list. Let's say watch list, and it means that the pets can have multiple it means that the pet can go to, we can have multiple pets in a watch list, and each pet in the watch list comes from the pet table. So that means the watch list, the pet in the watch list belongs to a particular pet in the pet class or the pet table. So let's define a property here, one to many relationship. Let's say watch pet. Now that means that the watch list, the pet in the watch list belongs to a particular pet, and the pet can have a multiple watch list. Pet can go to the multiple watch list, and also we have defined now this pet id becomes the foreign key for the pet in the watch list. So this name here pet and this pet should match, and the id is the id column, id field of the pet class. So we have defined one to many relationship between pet and watch list, and between application user and the pet. Now let's also make these foreign key property non-null values required field when creating the pets. So let's head over to our data application db context, and let's define that the foreign key properties are the required in the watch list model or the watch list table. So let's builder dot entity our pet entity that pet has many watch list. W goes to w dot watch list, and each watch list, each pet in the watch list belongs to a particular pet in the particular table, in the pet table. So has one with one, p goes to p dot pet, and this foreign key is the required property. So again let's add another statement here, entity application user, our application user has many watch list. User can have more than one pets in their watch list. W dot watch list, and each watch list belongs to a particular user. With one, u goes to u dot application user. It should be user because we define the application user as a user field user. And let's make this foreign key is required property so that the watch list cannot be created without the pet id and the application user id. So with this our model is ready, and now we need to generate the migration and apply that migration to the database. So let's open the terminal and let's generate the migration .NET ef migrations add watch list table, and it's creating a migration behind the scene. So if everything goes well, and the migration has successfully generated, now let's apply this migration against the database and create our watch list table in the database. So .NET ef database update. Let's give it a verbose C. Oops, I made a typo here. .NET ef database update. It's applying the migration against the database, and hope it is creating the watch list table in the database. And let's head over to our terminal and open the new console, and let's open the MySQL console from here. cd/user local MySQL, and we can go from here. I can do is ./MySQL dash root, ./MySQL dash root dash p password, and select our database mbc demo. Select, so databases VASS, so databases, use mbc demo, and let's show tables. So show tables, and our watchlist table has been generated, and let's see the properties are the columns of watchlist table. Describe watchlist, and here we have our watchlist table has been created with the page id and user id, and page id and user id are the foreign keys, and which cannot be null. That means the watchlist cannot be created without the page id and the application user id. And so we have successfully generated our model and the corresponding database table to create to store our watch list. And let's head over to our application user. Let's head over to our application db context, and let's add a db set property, db set of watch list, and let's give it a name of watch list, so that now we can use this property to refer to the database table when working with the watch list. So this is the end of the demo, and we will continue creating our watch list in the following videos. And thanks for watching. Have a good day.